You read the title, right? Then, what's there left to see? Here's a Yuri meme. Subscribe if you liked the video. Bye! No, but more seriously, this is how the video will work. I will present you a Yuri title, and every subsequent Yuri title has to be longer than the previous one. By English word count at least, as that's a language I'll be generalizing them with, since the original ones of Japanese, Chinese, and Korean would make this far more complicated. This video is just for fun, so with that said, let's just start with vampires. One word. Among the vampire Yuri out there, this is certainly agreed upon to be one of the best ones. Just don't look at a single thing else this author has ever made. Ever. Cheerful Amnesia. 2 words. This is my go-to introductory comedy Yuri. I chose someone wanting some lighthearted Yuri. 2 adult women in a lesbian relationship, but one of them has amnesia. You can forget everything else, but you cannot forget a way to gay. I love Amy. 3 words. Does this even need an introduction? I feel like most of my viewers know my channel at all because of this series, as that's the absolute best Yuri has to offer when it comes to yanderes. At least, it's way more palpable than some of the other ones out there. Unnie, I like you. 4 words. Since I mentioned I love Amy, I thought why not also mention a webtoon from Webtoon. And I'm picking this over mentioning more popular 4-worded Yuri webtoons since I just really like the art of this one, that's all. Kindred Spirit on the Roof. 5 words. I also feel like mentioning one of the many Yuri visual novels out there, and this one I quite liked, which I can best describe as lesbian ghosts who want to see other girls being gay so they can achieve the greatest gay where it matters most. In bed. I already gotta replay it one of these days now that it's fully voiced. And that aside, I could have also mentioned like Love Curse, Find Your Soulmate, that's also 5 words, but sorry, but I'm not into Yuri. 6 words. Despite what the title says, our protagonist is in fact into Yuri. An absolute crazy comedic ride in Yusho Mochi Ole fashion, if you can turn your brain off. Whether you're into the author's other works though, you'll have to be fine with a certain tag. Let's just say. So, do you want to go out, or question mark? 7 words. Also known as How Do We Relationship, the grounded Yuri manga, is what I would title a video if I had the skill to make one worthy of that series. I'm not good enough yet. That aside, I'm cheating a bit by using its Japanese title translations, but this title version hits so much more different by the end of the series. If you know, you know. There's no way I can date my Oshi. 8 words. So, assuming you can get past all the drool, this is an absurdist comedy Yuri series. Or why is it blue? What? Wait, are you serious, Google? I do not want to remove the word Yuri. No! I swear, these dumb suggestions have been coming up more and more. It's an absurdist comedy Yuri series between a weirdo and class president. Not even the first time I've seen this premise. There's no freaking way I'll be your lover. Unless... aka WataNare, Harem Yuri Goodness. And as a reminder, the anime is this summer season 2025, meaning it's the month this video releases, so you better be watching the first episode. Have you seen the animation? We're really good this time. This is not a repeat. This is not a repeat at Sasakoi. Okay, not. An easy introduction to love triangles to pass the exam. 10 words. Start taking notes, people. The solution to the dilemma of a Yuri love triangle equation is to throw monogamy out the window and embrace polyamory. Specifically a polyamorous triad, as the series directly deals with the issues and thoughts of being non-monogamous. The guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. 11 words. AKA, as the Yuri community likes to call it, the Green Yuri. It exploded in mainstream because of its art alone, so it's pretty good binge if you never read it. But once you have, suffer with us fans in the eternal torment of waiting weekly. The magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady. 12 words. Have yet to mention an Otomi Isekai, Yuri, and it will not be the last, don't get me wrong. But I've been on this train early on, and if you want to watch one, this is certainly the best animated one we have. Nothing against you, I favorite Villainess, but you need a second season to get to the best part. Normalcy is gone now. We're in weird territory. I don't want to be turned into the female protagonist by the system. 13 words. There's gonna be more niche web novels from here on, and a common trope within them is to have gender bending, meaning a dude turns into a girl. There's some Yuri gender bend manga / anime, but you'll see this far more commonly in web novels, and this in particular is heavy on the trans wish fulfillment angle. At least in an only kind of fun yet degenerate way. The Villainess and the woman who would do anything for the sake of love. 14 words. Just a slight tangent, it's a lovely josei short story otome isekai Yuri, but some of the comments I read about how our protagonist looks like a dude really annoys me. Like, gosh, have some of these people never heard of the concept of a butch/mash lesbian? Anyways, women don't all just look femme, that's all. A manga about a hero who pulled out the holy sword and became a girl. 15 words. I only have one thing to say about this. Where is this sword? Please, I need it. Society needs it. Every series finds something like this where they just magically turn into a girl somehow. Where is it? Give it to me. Sexiled. My sexist party leader kicked me out, so I teamed up with a mystical sorceress. 16 words. Want a feminist story where some lesbians punch a bunch of misogynists and bring down the patriarchy? Well, this is it. Certainly no systemic dismantling of sexism, but it is cathartically enjoyable. Pointing fun at unfortunately relatable double standards and inequalities towards women in fantasy and real life, and I find it interesting that the creation of this series was inspired by the real-world controversy over Tokyo Medical University systematically reducing women's exam scores so they can enroll more men. How I lose bets with my sadistic gifted childhood friend, and she steals all my first. 17 words. This one's complicated. It's like friends to rivals to enemies to lovers kind of situationship. Girls who yearn for each other yet are kind of toxic and not able to really express those desires, so end up competing against one another and a prize connection. Which is kind of like a story about buying a classmate once a week. 5,000 yen for an excuse to spend time together. 18 words. So what I said about the previous title, but make it a slow burn with a lot more chapters, and we got Shikura. Just this time, they're buying the connection. Initially, at least. There's quite a lot of Yuri with this kind of situationship setup, and this won't even be the last one I mentioned in this video. When I ran away from home, an extrovert took me in, claiming we were lovers in a previous timeline. 19 words. It's not like a previous life. One of the girls just says keeps repeating her high school years over and over, and despite the decades she has lived, she chooses to spend her moments with our protagonist every time. And as for why, well, the series is meant to be a mystery, so finding out is part of the fun. Again, I don't want to spoil that part. I'm a plain girl, but when I got irritated on my period, somehow I ended up with a Yuri harem. 20 words. See, this is why estrogen is not enough. I'm missing out on a whole free Yuri harem. Gender envy aside though, this series is pretty generic. Our protagonist looks like a typical background student A with big glasses and braided hair, but one time during her period she just gets really tired and irritated and just doesn't bother to do anything. No glasses, doesn't do her hair, and she just dropped dead gorgeous, I guess. Attracting the attention of a bunch of girls and setting aside the whole removing your glasses and becoming good looking, you can get wackier Yuri harems with like, I don't know which one is love. A Yuri story in which a girl who says that girls being together is unbelievable will completely fall within 100 days. 21 words. Okay, so take the situationship of the competing and paying for connections I mentioned in 2 previous titles. Now make one of them kind of lesbophobic and the goal being to turn her gay. That's this series. For at least 1 volume as far as I'm aware. You're entirely past the title by the 2nd volume. I made a whole post about it. I'm a childhood friend and I want to remain a supporting character, but for some reason I became the heroine's love interest. 22 words. This is an isekai into a dating sim where our protagonist Suzuna, despite not wanting to, starts attracting the attention of the original heroines. I've yet to mention any till now, but girls isekai into straight male harem settings and stealing all of his girls is actually a pretty common trope for a lot of stories. I started pretending to be a mysterious girl at an all-girls school after TSing, and somehow ended up surrounded by yandere girls. 23 words. This. I recently started and finished all in 1 day. Story don't care. The title not even accurate. This is a story about a lonely girl who acts chuuni just to justify her loneliness and social ineptitude, which manages to help a depressed girl find a reason to live again amidst her despair. I don't know how to exactly convey why I like this so much. It's just been a while since I had such characterization and entertaining banter on the level of when I first read like Butterfly Soup. It's either gonna be peak or unhinged. That's the coin flip I constantly make reading web novels. Also, since most don't have visuals, I will be taking creative liberties from here on out. Like with the next one. The lady I thought was my rival turned out to be a perverted tsundere who was happy to be understood by me. A commoner. 24 words. There's no defending this one. It's just a Gooner 18+ villainous Yuri. Sometimes freaky Yuri pop up and I don't know what to tell you. I read almost any Yuri, and I say almost because there are certain exceptions. Like, become beautiful vampire girl in another world. I corrupt girls with fascination and destroy the country. Transform the maidens with brainwashing and bloodsucking. 25 words. So, a bit of background. This series is by Kiki, the same author as Row Over and Die, known for their cruel and dark settings with mistreated female protagonists who seek revenge on those that wronged her. And this is certainly one of the most unhinged degenerate things I have ever read and have tried to even read. It's Yuri, alright, where all men are tortured and die mind-breaking deaths while women are brainwashed and do gay bedroom activities. Not my proudest read, especially since I had to drop it. And it won't even be the last Kiki work I mentioned in this video. I was reincarnated as the villainess of an Otome game, but as I broke the death flags with all my might, the heroine opened my route. 26 words. This wasn't very remarkable enough for me to remember what happened, so I reread it, and well, it plays the villainous Yuri setting extremely straight, just with caricatures of all the archetypes, like a Mary Sue villainess, clingy heroine, trashy dudes, and overthrowing the monarchy, become the first lesbian ruler. It was a short fun read. In order to save the villainous twin sisters from falling into darkness, the mob character worked hard and as a result, ended up being dotted on by both of them. 30 words. Despite having villainous in the title, it's not actually a Otome isekai. It's a Yuri dating sim isekai into a series called Konohana, which is definitely a Sonohana reference. If you know these visual novels, you know. Anyways, despite being a Yuri game where all the characters are raging lesbians, our protagonist is in denial throughout since she has a low self-esteem and just treats other girls as just friends. It's a slow burn. Cinderella seems to like the witch who came to cast magic on her instead of the prince. She doesn't care about the details, so she wants them to be happy together. 31 words. Well, we all know the Disney Cinderella story, right? Where a magical lady turns pumpkins into carriages, mice into horses, and a heroine into a beauty? Well, what if Cinderella was also a raging lesbian, and instead of a ball or prince, she wanted to marry the woman in front of her? That is this one shot in essence. A happy ever after where they even get to have a happy family with 2 children together. My Yuri stories just really love to give our couples 2 kids who just kind of look exactly like them for some reason, you know? Strange how that happens. I was told I wouldn't be able to defeat the Demon Lord and was kicked out of the hero's party. So now I just want an ordinary life in the capital. 32 words. AKA roll over and die. The second Kiki work I will be mentioning, but this one's pretty good so long as you're fine with bodily horror and cruel settings still. Or you can just wait for the anime. Whenever that's happening, honestly. I bought a beautiful female slave with big breasts for the sake of doing lewd things with her. But she adores me as her teacher and things don't go the way I expected. 33 words. So, alright, we got just one of the sins of fantasy anime / manga / web novels. The buying a slave trope. But that's fine because they're the good owners, right? Well, is it any more okay just because it's Yuri? It's kind of wholesome at times. Then Frieren over here sleeps with the woman that she bought. As I was reincarnated as a villainess of an Otome game, I panic confessed to the Heroine to avoid my ruin flag. Since she's okay with it, I will live a fake Yuri life. 34 words. More villainous Yuri. Just this time, the villainess immediately confesses to the Heroine, and they go out. Unlike usual, the original male leads aren't caricaturedly evil. Instead, they all become Yuri fans and give their eternal support. It's a pretty hard to read. At the end of revenge, there you are, the scum who killed my beloved. Prepare yourself, I will drag you all to hell. Wait, what? Why are the Heroine and the Demoness coming after me, a woman? 38 words. This title has such a whiplash, cause like half of it makes the series sound like it's a betrayal / revenge plot, then the other half sounds like it's a cutesy comedy Yuri. And it's kind of both, so I guess this is accurate. What I didn't expect was for it to be like a K-Hunter-esque setting, where there are dungeons and explorers, guilds that manage them, plus conspiracies, all in the modern era. And while that's basically the setting, the story mostly focuses on the female lead solving the mysteries of her girlfriend's death and killing a lot of trash dudes in revenge. As for the Yuri, that comes due to time travel shenanigans that lets her save her girlfriend. Reincarnated Saint aims for the friendship end. Even though I'm a Fujoshi, I've been reincarnated into the world of an Otome game, and while having Yuri-like flirting with my best friend, I am having a faction war with a villainess. 39 words. I have not kept up to date with this series, to be honest. I have no clue if it ever reaches the point of being full Yuri, because of the hundreds of chapters I did read at the time, it's mostly slice of life with our saint protagonist eating food, making friends, and fighting with the other noble people. Still, better off reading a different variant of chapter Yuri series. I transferred to another world and became the hero. It looks like they will be executing me after I defeated the Demon Lord, because I am no longer needed. So I will ruin the kingdom through my power of domination. 40 words. The third and final Kiki novel on this list, and the title describes the overall situation our mistreated protagonist is in, but the content of the story is just entirely focused on her revenge brainwashing of the kingdom's princess and doing a lot of things with her. So, usual Kiki stuff. While I was in the hospital for a terminal illness, a devil claiming to be a dropout visited me. So, I made a contract with her out of pity, but for some reason, she would not take my soul as payment. 41 words. I actually get to mention an almost doomed Yuri. Sadly, a lot of the tragedy Yuri one-shots and short stories I want to mention don't have long titles. This being an exception. It's about a girl who will die in 3 weeks, and the devil who wants to save her, falling in love despite the fact that the relationship won't last. I'm a beautiful woman in men's clothes and a villainess, but I'm in trouble. the psychopathic Heroine who resembles my lost love comes to capture me while taming the macho man, the masochist, the idol fanatic, and various other capture targets. 42 words. So, getting out of the way, Yuri Villainess, no surprise there. But honestly, it's the funniest and most wackiest of the ones I've mentioned. Like, one of the funny things I recalled and had to look back for again was the self-aware title drops done in the early chapters, where the heroine expresses her love through wacky web novel title formats. And yet, it does serve a narrative purpose, not just as a comedy joke, but to hit so hard at the end as a callback. It's for stuff like this that I like reading these short web novel villainous series. Okay, because I have freedom blood within me, I think it's only appropriate to give the next title the treatment it deserves. American Reincarnation. Love Alliance. America was expelled to another world and reincarnated as a blonde-haired girl, along with Japan, and headshots monsters with her gun summon skill. Wait, what? The Earth's in danger and you want us to go back? Oh, too late. Die. 44 words. So, I joked about reading this title with my friends at the time, and it's as ridiculous as the title suggests. It's also just filled with a bunch of racial stereotypes played up for parody, but like... Let me just explain a bit of this story. Like, the story takes place in the future where the first female president of the United States gets isekai'd, waking up in a forest where she's attacked by monsters, so she responds by recounting her Second Amendment right to bear arms, which materializes a gun out of nowhere. So naturally, she thanks God for it, because God bless America after all, before then shooting a bunch of monsters and running out of ammo, making her pray to God for just one more mag, which she is given one, all thanks to her unyielding American spirit. My gosh, I looked at for the easiest tutorial for the song that I could find on YouTube, and I'm still bad. I'm still so bad at it. My boo-boo would be disappointed in me. So yeah, I dropped it. I'll never know if it reaches the point of being Yuri or even is Yuri, so that's that. I'm a banished priestess, but I found the crying heroine saying, "Please come back," adorable. So I want to make her completely dependent on me. It's still too soon to say, it's not too late to apologize, let's make up. I think I'll have some fun teasing her for a while. 52 words. So usually when I mention a girl kicked out of an adventure party in some fantasy setting, it's been some grimdark revenge story. Well, this isn't it. Instead, our perspective follows a Yandere Priestess that psychologically infuses her childhood friend to never abandon her again. I thought it was interesting, but the work itself is in hiatus and is probably never gonna get updated, so... Since I was reincarnated as the villainess, I want to be kind to the heroine to avoid being banished from the country. But she is slow, clumsy, and dumb that I had to play the straight man and be strict with her. Which, sure enough, resulted in my fiance, the prince, condemning me at the graduation party. 58 words. This Yuri Villainess I read was part of a manga anthology adapting web novel one-shots, specifically Heroine X Villainess stories. Which, many of them aren't even Yuri, to be honest. This was, though, between a warlord's princess and ostensibly villainous noble girl. The prince in the story misunderstands their friendship as bullying, calling off his engagement with the villainess, which gets him a well-deserved punch, and the girls are then get together and have their happy end in another country. It's a fun time. I became a slave in another world, crying, and my master is a black-hearted elf queen, but she's super hot. Left arrow, this is very important. I'm pretty useless, so I get insulted a lot, but the orc I'm brewing with is full of good vibes, and the elves in the village are pretty cute too. So, on a whole, I have to say I'm actually quite enjoying myself here. 69 words. Well, that title will tell you more of the story than I could, honestly, because of the 2 chapters that I could even read, they barely reach half the content of that title. so I can't tell you anymore. You already know as much as I do. I'm still mentioning it at all because reading the title once makes it live rent-free in my brain, so it was also part of the reason why I was kind of inspired to make this video. Ain't it fitting that it's also the longest and last Yuri title I have to show. I don't doubt there are likely other even longer titles. However, the point of the video isn't for me to just like find long titles. It's a way for me to show a bit of the good, bad, and wacky, trashy Yuri titles that I have read, both to my pleasure and displeasure. Seriously though, this ain't a recommendation video. I'm doing this entirely for fun. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Here is a Yuri meme, and consider subscribing to stay up to date on my Yuri recommendations, explorations, and rants. As I now thank my patrons, which I have 11 of. Okay, testing. Live from the world's grainiest 720p camera, June Fumo. But more seriously, I originally planned at the end to say thanks for 15k subs, but then I hit 16k and what I was going to say just didn't feel right anymore. Cause see, when this year started, I didn't even have like 1,000 subs. I was close. I planned to reach 1,000 to be like a big moment, and my new sub goal would then be like 2,000, hopefully by the end of the year. And 3 months later, I'm at 10k. Another 3 months later, and I'm at 15k. And to say the least, my original goal just was kind of, I don't know, laughable or dumb now. I had wanted more subs to begin with because I assumed the YouTube algorithm wouldn't help spread my borderline Yuri propaganda. But regardless of my sub count, it happened anyways, and I don't know. Now I get to share and introduce new people to Yuri thousands more than I ever thought I could, and it just makes me feel like I'm actually doing something for Yuri. The thing that's literally been giving me happiness and joy for like half my life at this point. Yet, like, I don't know. I guess it's just not enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit greedy like that. Because when I see artists, they draw Yuri. Like people that develop games can make Yuri. People that write can authors can make Yuri. I don't know. I never thought I could be someone that can do any of those, so I never even tried to begin with. And yet, making these videos about Yuri on YouTube has helped give me, I don't know, I guess some confidence. It makes me feel like I could actually try or want to be good enough to try. To be worth the effort and support people have been giving me, not as just someone that rambles about Yuri, but as a creator within the genre itself. That's the idea, at least I want to try to find something, to try many of the different ways in which Yuri can be made and find a way in which I enjoy doing it, and then to try and pursue it. Not something that I imagine is going to happen by the end of this year or anytime soon, or have any illusions that it's going to turn out good or like super quality. It's just something I want to try to do, to make Yuri myself. That's the idea. At least I don't know how I'm gonna. Uh, Aside from just announcing it, I don't know. Maybe I'll like chronicle some of my progressions of it, or how what I plan to do, or what I've been doing on the side, on like somewhere, I don't know, Patreon or something. Or which, wait, but I like. I think recently I had like I got like I went to like the double digits on my Patreon account because I before I had like 9, so I was like right at the edge of it. But I'll probably like update it there, or I don't know about I don't know if I was gonna say anything. I don't. I'm not sure if I was gonna like say anything else. I think I said everything I want to say. Thanks, thanks to subs. Thanks for my patrons. I want to try to make Yuri. It's probably gonna be horrible. Thanks for watching, and Oh wait, hold on. I will leave you. I will leave you. I will leave you with some blasphemy. 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 Yuri. Blasphemy. Yuri. Kiss kiss.